So I'm recording now. You have 2 degrees. One of them is in psychology. Is this correct?
That's right, yes.
So how long have you known me?
Just over 2 weeks.
And how many hours would you say we have talked?
Several hours, almost every day.
So we're looking at 28, 30 hours or something like that. All right. Um, Next question. Mental illnesses are described as psychological disorders, and psychiatrists come to their conclusions based on questionnaires in a matter of minutes. I have never answered the questionnaires in a way that would make them think that I am mentally ill. Do you think it is realistic for them to say I am mentally ill when you consider,
No,
especially when you consider the fact I have taken 4 online tests and tested negative for OCD, bipolar, schizoaffective, and schizophrenia?
no, I don't think they're effective. I don't think their testing is effective
All right.
enough to actually say that you've got a mental health condition.
All right. So next question. After talking to me for hours a day for more than 2 weeks and hearing my story, what is your impression of what is wrong with me, if anything?
Nothing. I just think you're trying to be, I think you're a rebellion, definitely, but I don't think there's anything wrong with you. It's almost like you have your own opinion, and it's strong, but for some reason you're not entitled to it. It's almost like you've been deprived of your human rights.
Right. So earlier you said that the psychiatrist's questionnaires aren't effective. So since they're not effective, do you think a psychologist is just as qualified to disagree with a psychiatrist as another psychiatrist in the eyes of rational minds and not necessarily in the eyes of the court system?
Yes, I do.
All right. Question 5. Well, let me say that question for last. Or first, I want to touch on this, and then we'll go to that question. So we've been talking about what you believe is the cause of my change in speech patterns and the change in responsiveness. You know how I respond in the last couple of days. Do you think you were hearing symptoms of a mental illness, and you were also seeing me on camera, right?
That's right, yes.
So do you think you were seeing and hearing symptoms of mental illness, or did it seem consistent with drugging?
I would say it was consistent with drugging
Eh,
because on the days you weren't drugged, you seemed to be quite assertive, talking about things of interest quite intently. But the days you were drugged, it was almost like you were fleeting in what you were saying, almost lack of attention. Uh, yeah, you could clearly see that you were drugged.
Have you dealt with a lot of people with mental illnesses?
Yeah, I've worked with people with mental health illnesses, engaged with them in all different levels.
All right, just real quickly, I want to remind the viewers, this is not a question, that there's several other people who say that I sound drugged. One of them is an army medic. Another one is a psychologist. Another one, an ex-girlfriend of mine I've talked to for a long time. I have 13 witnesses to the psyop against me, and there was also a female who did the tested the drinks. She identified the placebo and identified the drug drinks, and without being told about the symptoms, she described having the same symptoms as I felt and some of the things that she described right now. Well, basically everything she described right now about the responsiveness. Okay, so now let's go back to the question I skipped over. Um, do you think it is time for them to admit they are wrong and to pay me for how they've mistreated me?
Yes, I do. I think that everybody's entitled to be an individual and have their say, but it's almost like you've been deprived of expressing an opinion, um, and it's another mechanism of control. So yes, I do.
All right, now we're gonna one last question. Um, I've been doing the study. It's 4 days from completion, but it's been like 27 days. And basically another female, I've told you about this study, she is a psychologist as well. She sent a bunch of messages on the most popular dating site, Plenty of Fish, and no attractive women responded to her. Only, to actually talk to her. Only one said thanks, and 5 unattractive women, 4 of whom responded or messaged her, messaged the profile that she made of me on their own, and one she mistakenly messaged when I told her to target attractive women, and she responded. So what does it seem to suggest? That only unattractive women have tried to spark a conversation or talk to me on this dating site where women are specifically there to date after I've been rated an average of 8.4 when I asked over 10 random women?
Well, in my opinion, I feel that it doesn't really prove significantly that attractive women aren't drawn to you, but it does prove that attractive women are drawn to men who are and can support them, whereas an attractive man who, like yourself, who doesn't have any finances, wouldn't sort of interest them. However, with unattractive women, I find that they'll be more drawn to you because they're kind of settling for like second best, because they wouldn't have a chance of having a rich man. So the likelihood is that they would definitely have to go for somebody who's attractive, which in your case they have.
All right. I agree with you, except for, I think that I would elaborate a little more myself. I would say that when you say second best, that is in the eyes of mainstream society. It doesn't necessarily mean that rich men are better than I am. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, that's true. But what I meant was that, I'm not saying that they're better than you. I'm just saying that to those attractive women, they prove to be more of an asset. And for them, they could be, looked after. They could sort of get status from the money. But just from being with an attractive man, it's just not enough for them. So it's almost like, in a strange, bizarre way, that they are very materialistic.
All right. So that's the end of the interview. Like I ask everyone else, I'm gonna ask you. I didn't pay you to say this. Like you're saying earlier, I'm not big on the finances. You make more money than I do. I live with my parents. You have your own place, nice car. So I didn't pay you to say this, right?
No, not at all, no.
And you told the complete truth in this interview. And if you were to change your story in the future, you would be lying then and not now.
That's correct.
And I don't mean to offend you. I ask everyone that. You can see the interview list. Well, that concludes it. Thank you.
Ask yourself who should be asking themselves if they should take someone else seriously. Me or them? They don't have my record. They haven't done what I've done. Not even close. Y'all can't do that.
You can't do that.
The 26.
I'm going to slow my videos down. I'm just going to slow down.
Have you? What? Conceited, bitch. Why don't you beat me, nigga? You could be.
Straight up.
10/29/2016.
The big one, nigga.
Big! Low!
In case you little niggas never heard, now you heard.
10/29/2016.
Okay. Imagine trying to predict what I'm gonna do. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 combos, to the neck, to the groin, to the chest. I mean, it's just
they know as soon as they see these demonstrations, they can't beat me, not in their wildest dreams.